Welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Savant Video. As promised, I'm going to be talking about this episode, Season 1 of the Punisher Netflix series. It was released a couple of weeks ago. It took me a little time to get through it. Plus, with the holidays, Justice League review hitting last episode. It's been a lot going on in comic book movies and television, just in the comic book industry to catch up on. So I had a chance to finally get through all 13 episodes of the series, and I'm here to give you my non-spoiler review. It will be an in-detailed spoiler-filled review on the audio channel, which you can find over at comicbooksavant.com, as well as in one of the audio podcast playlists here on the YouTube channel, so you can get it either place. So be on the lookout for that. If you want to be spoiled, if you haven't seen the show yet, or if you have seen it, you can go get my full and detailed thoughts there. Now, as far as this being a non-spoiler review, just going to go over the basics. We're getting the Punisher about 6 months or so after the events that we saw him in Daredevil Season 2, where we were introduced to Frank Castle in this Netflix Marvel universe. Now, when I did my review on the audio podcast about Season 2 of Daredevil, I wasn't quite sure on Jon Bernthal playing this lead role of the Punisher, and it was I felt like parts of his characterization in Daredevil Season 2 was kind of like a mixed bag. I wasn't 100% sold, but honestly, I'm a huge Punisher fan, and I haven't been too sold on any of the incarnations they've done on film of the character at this point, but I really liked how they tightened that up in his premiere season, that they really seemed to have a better handle on the character, and they knew what direction they wanted to go, and it's definitely noticeable changes on what his character was in Daredevil Season 2 to what he is here. He's definitely more defined, and with that, Jon Bernthal has a ton to work with, and he is my Punisher from here and forever will be till he's unseated as the king of Punisher. He's my Punisher. This season, and I have to say this, it is definitely not for the squeamish or weak at heart, or this is not a family show. So if you have young kids around that are under the age of like 13, don't watch it around them. This is not family friendly. This is not I feel like all the Netflix shows are a little bit more geared to adults, but this is definitely not family friendly, and this is definitely for people that don't like blood. This show is very graphic. I've talked about at times where certain shows and or movies and or even comics, any medium, can go to excess just for the sake of it because they're allowed to, and it doesn't necessarily work. Here it actually works for the character. This is going deep back to the roots in the comics, in his history, in his lore, and they do a great job portraying it on TV. But I can say it's not for everyone. If you don't like blood, gore, they don't skimp and they don't hide from it. It's brutal. It's just, it's brutal. It doesn't bother me because I love that character. I know what comes with it, and I felt like it was never done just for the sake of doing it. When you saw something bloody or gory happen on screen, it was a purpose and a reasoning behind it, and with the core of the character, how viciously he reacts to situations, is warranted in his world, and what they give you surrounding the character that warrants it, that justifies his mindset for being the way he is. Definitely I loved the addition of they brought Karen Page back. They definitely had interaction as far as Frank Castle and Karen Page in Daredevil Season 2. They continued it, and I have to say I really love Deborah Ann Woll's portrayal. I like her with Frank actually more than I like her with Matt and on Daredevil. She's kind of like a damsel in distress at times there, especially I felt like in Daredevil Season 2 and even a little bit in The Defender. She was kind of like a nag, and she kind of annoyed me. I really love her chemistry with Jon Bernthal, even though she wasn't in she wasn't around a lot. Just her presence to show us connected to the larger world in the Netflix series was cool to see. And they just have knockout chemistry. So it was cool seeing her character. And actually, it's my favorite, probably since Daredevil season 1, take on Karen that we've seen recently. So I really enjoyed that, and that stood out as a plus for me. Last but not least, I have to mention this before I get out of here with the season 1 review, is that Ben Barnes, that plays the Billy Russo character, is phenomenal. It took me a while. I was like, he looks so familiar to me. So I had to research it on IMDb, and I was like, he's the King Caspian from the Narnia movies, the last few Narnia movies. It's like, wow, he's grown up. Because like you see somebody on screen, and you're like, where have I seen him before? And it just bugs me, so I have to research it to find out. But he's phenomenal as Billy Russo. And a lot of seeds are set there for him to be around the series going into season 2 and in the future. All in all, I have to say again, I highly recommend this show. This is hands down my favorite Netflix show since Daredevil season 1. I would give this a 10 out of 10. It's a must watch, but I do preface this by saying this is not for the weak at heart or the squeamish. This is a hard R show. It's definitely very graphic, bloody scenes. So if you don't like that kind of material, then I would recommend that you might not watch the show, because it's in full force and they don't shy away from it and they don't cut away from it. It's right there in your face. So for those individuals, I say you might not want to watch this because it might be too much for you. But anyone that's a diehard fan of The Punisher, or like what they saw in season 2 of Daredevil with The Punisher, this is definitely a high recommend. Check it out on Netflix. Again, they haven't made any announcement about if or when a season 2 will come. I imagine it would, because this show was awesome, and I can't wait to see what will happen next and where they might go next with the show. But that's all I have for you guys this week. See you again next week for another episode of Comic Book Savant Video. You guys take care, and leave comments down below and tell me what you think of it if you have watched Punisher, or after you do watch Punisher, come back and let me know what your thoughts are on the show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And again, check and click the bell for notifications so you're always aware of when the next video drops on the channel. I'll see you guys next time. Take care and have a good week.